Looking for stories that are fresh and new? Dark fantasy, humor, space exploration, time travel, cyberpunk, alternate history, and more. They're in the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future anthology. From 24 award-winning authors and illustrators, plus art and writing tips and bonus stories. L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future. Buy your copy at galaxypress.com, Amazon, or wherever books are sold.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Into the Night with Shawn Kelly. You got me. We are on 105.3 New Orleans and 107.7 Mississippi. I hope everybody down in Mississippi and Texas are doing okay because of that big storm that's coming in. So I want to introduce my my co-host, Tara. And how are you doing today, Tara?
I'm doing well. How about you, Shawn?
I'm hanging in there. What a week it was. There was a lot of crap that went on during the week, and especially down there in Maui. But I'm not going to get into that really that much because I'm going to wait until the end of the show. I just had a good week. Besides all the crap that's going on in the news, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
So had a good week at work. The way I'm doing things now is working out perfect for me. I've been having, this is like week number 3, knock on wood, that I'm doing okay. I set a different routine on myself, and it seems to be working.
Fantastic. Sometimes we have to switch it up.
So what I want to do is the reason why we're in Orange today, and we're going to be in Orange for a very long time, is I have 2 friends, Tara and my friend Sue. They have a disease. It's called CRPS and RSC, which is reflex systematic dystrophy. It's in the awareness month is in November, and you're supposed to wear orange, but these are 2 of my very, very best friends, and it's like I'm just going to continue doing it. Tara, would you give a little bit of thing on CRPS, please?
Sure. It affects everybody differently. Some of us have had like surgery or an accident where they injured an area of their body. Mine is full body because mine started as head trauma. But what it does is it causes excruciating pain. There are times when it feels like we have acid in our blood. Our skin feels like it's being burned by acid. Some of us feel like we don't have a lip. Some of us feel like we, have the phantom limb syndrome like amputees do, but our limb is there. It's disabling. It's also known as the greatest pain a human being can actually feel. It's above childbirth. It's above amputation. It's above breaking the bone. It is literally the highest. And also, the nickname of this disease is called the suicide.
Oh, okay. You're still breaking up there a little bit. Don't know what's happening with you. Must be your phone or something. But you know what? That's okay. But so this past week, I'm going to talk a little bit about my mental health. Okay.
Yep.
It really hasn't been going pretty good for me because of all the crap that's going on out there in the world today. I can't seem to get a grasp on a lot of it. Well, I know I understand what's happening, but when it comes down to my brain, all right, and my mental health, it's not so good. I get angry a lot, and I somehow what I had been practicing on doing or working on for my mental health, it's just not seemed to be working. So somehow I feel like that I am going to be, I'm going through a test because Tara, people who are empathic, people who are spiritual. Hey, Tony, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for stopping in.
Hey, Tony.
Thank you for being here, bud. But back to people who are into the spiritual things.
Right.
It just seems like um, with our empathic traits that we are always put to test around here, and what every day of our lives. And I believe right now that I'm going through a test to, I guess, bolster my empathic powers or whatever you want to call it.
Yep, your vibration, right?
Or that vibrations, whatever we call it. And I'm being tested. And I don't like being tested for it. I hate these tests that I get, you know. A lot of people come out and they usually say, well, it's more than likely possibility that you're just dealing with life on life's terms. And they're kind of right on that situation. But you know what? It's totally different from that. I don't like it tested. And I just guess I have to go through it. With all the freaking misery out there going on in the world right now, and with me being very, very empathic, I'm just absorbing it all. I'm like a sponge, and I'm grabbing everybody's negativity, everybody's angers, everybody's hostilities, and it's something that I thought I learned how to deal with it, but you know what? I just couldn't do it. How about you?
It's funny you say that because I got to see my therapist 2 weeks ago. Last week I canceled. I had Dawn, but I told her I'm so angry, and she said because I'm empathic too. Something I didn't think about was that it's a stage of grief. So maybe we're feeling all this grief in the world, and it's creating anger, and also some of the other stuff we've been through is creating the anger issues too. What do you think?
That's possible. Tony says, I am a Hayoka empath, and it just makes you stronger. Hi, you know what? Thank you for sharing that. Sometimes I don't want to feel like that, Tony. Sometimes it feels like I'm getting a little bit more weaker when all this crap happens to us. I don't know, where it actually comes from. They do say that you are supposed to be doing tests, and you have to go through this and you have to go through that. And like I kept telling Tara for the longest time, okay, for me, I have gone through these tests. I've gone through these different levels, and you know what? It's just like totally
Brutal.
strenuous, brutal, beyond brutal. And I can't see why this is happening to me. Now, I've asked that question zillions and zillions and zillions about time, why all this crap is happening to me. But is there something further on down the road that that is going to make me a stronger person? Is there something down the road to where whenever there is a spiritual warfare, that I'm going to be fighting in that spiritual warfare? Or if it's like, not so much spiritual, but actually doing, the warfare now with all that's going on. You know what I mean? What do you think, Tara?
Yeah, knowing what you've gone through and just a small chasm of what you've gone through, it can be brutal. But the thing is, too, I sit there and I think about the other saying that we know from the big book is faith without work is dead. So, yeah, we have the faith that on the other side we're going to come out unscathed or level up or whatever. and that the source or God, whatever you want to call it, him or her, has something already there in place to help us.
No,
And
that's a good question. I need to ask you that because you mentioned that earlier this week. The source. What do you mean by the source?
my concept of God,
Okay.
my concept of God is a huge energy source, because energy can be everywhere. And if you look at all the texts about God, we are created in God's image. And if you look at a human being, our soul is basically nothing but energy. And, God always says he's the light. So that's another form of energy. And that energy is everywhere, which God says he's everywhere. So I look at us coming from a big sphere of energy and manifesting into human beings, and that we're all interconnected.
Okay.
Kind of like the Borg in Star Wars or Star Trek.
Okay, so I understand, what you're saying about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my listeners, okay, come from in all different parts of religions of some sort,
Right.
and I don't know if they have an open mind about it. Okay, I know I do. I got a big open mind about it, but it's kind of hard for people to understand.
Right.
But what is going on. To me, kept me sober 33 and a half years, so whoever it is, I just turn it over. Oh, now the chat room's filling up. That's pretty good. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Into the Night with Shawn Kelly and Tara Brecken. And we're just talking now. We're going to talk about pretty soon. We're going to talk about manifestations of the paranormal. Let me ask you people out there, okay? When you dream and you are dreaming of a certain object or a certain person, now my question is, can you actually dream or manifest that thing into your everyday life? Personally, me, I don't remember my dreams, okay? But if I ever tried to manifest anything, um, nothing seems to be working for me because I don't. I really, honestly, God, for me, I don't want nothing to manifestation to me, and but there are other people. Tara, would you like to chime in on that, please?
Sure. So, when you're brought up in a church, I'm going to go, for instance, that, you and I were brought up Catholic, and we're taught, when we pray to the God of our understanding, that prayer is powerful. But then the more people that say that same prayer, so say we know the same person, Joe Bob, that happens to be sick. And maybe instead of just me praying for Joe Bob, we have you praying for Joe Bob. And it goes on and on and on. Maybe, my friends I've talked to, I tell them, hey, this person's sick. So they always say that, there's power in prayer. Or when we go to Mass, the whole manifestation of Mass is built up and built up and built up during the actual Mass and service itself, not only the priest, but with all the congregation. So no matter what denomination you are, whatever religion you are, there is a belief that, yes, a manifestation prayer, whatever you're thinking of, is powerful, but the more that think or pray or do the same things, that the vibe is stronger and stronger. If that makes sense.
Kind of wrapping my head around on what you're saying. What you're saying to me is, and tell me if I'm wrong, I want you to interject on that. But it just seems like if you focus on Joe Bob just being sick and you want him to get better, okay, you just focus all your energy and with the energy being a manifestation to get Joe Bob healed.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then maybe I'll tell you, hey, this person I know is really sick. You pray for Joe Bob. And then you might tell your mom or your brother or your son. And then it starts trickling down and trickling down. And maybe we have 200 people on the same night praying for Joe Bob instead of.
Well, let me come back and ask you this question, Tara. Okay.
Sure.
Say like you have enemies and they hurt you pretty bad, right?
Right.
Now, do you manifest something demonic to go after them? Could you? Would you manifest something demonic to go after them? I mean, if it can work for the good, I'm sure it can work for the bad stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And I can honestly say that most people who practice believe there's a consequence, and you have to be willing to accept the consequence, whether it's good or bad. So maybe the person who hurt me didn't understand anything other than that. Maybe they were hurt by their mom or their dad or somebody, and that's all they knew. So then I'm sitting there trying to wish ill upon somebody who might be mentally ill because that's all they knew.
Okay. Freighter says, "Hi, Freighter. Thank you for coming in, buddy."
What's up, Freighter?
Freighter says we are transmitters. So the more we put out similar frequencies, it will create larger change to heal, to kill, or sicken, or to prosper. Or if someone is strong enough, they can do it without a group. Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
I mean, if you think about it, people talk about manifesting their dreams. Maybe they'll write a book, in their journal every day. I am prosperous, or I am healed. And, they're manifesting their dreams that way. Or, I'm going to be a fighter pilot. As a kid, they write it down. They repeatedly write it down, and they're manifesting it. They're sending their vibe out and the frequency out, and it's coming back to them.
Right. So I don't know if we had Freighter on when we talked about this or not, or if it was Daniel. I think it was Daniel when it was on. By 2 weeks, say like you wanted a pizza for dinner or something like that, and you start saying in your mind, "I want a pizza. I want a pizza. I want a pizza." And eventually, within the 2 weeks, you get your pizza because you manifested that. Correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And I mean, if you think of science, you have equal and opposite reactions. And so if I send out a specific vibe into the universe, that vibe's coming right back at me. So if I'm a jagoff for no reason, guess what's going to happen?
You'll get hit, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So basically, that is what you call karma.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the same thing happens in the paranormal at a lot of places too. You go in and that supposedly this kid Eddie died in the basement. His brother accidentally shot him. Now, there's no documentation. Maybe some empath or some person who professes to be an all-knowing being says, this kid Eddie was killed by his brother Tommy in the basement. And then it becomes like one of those things where everybody assumes that that's true. So now, not only does that empath say it, then the owner of the building says it, and then all the paranormal groups come in and start raising energy, and they can create Eddie out of nothing.
Well, look at all the places that I investigated. I mean, Eastern Penn, you come out with a story about, someone getting killed in this cell. Same way down in Morgantown. Not Morgantown, that one down in Wheeling. And then so they come out with a story, and all of a sudden people are, I guess, they're manifesting or they're thinking and reading about that story. So in their minds, they're actually going to see, Hubert Humperdinck down in a West Virginia cell, because that's what they heard. Am I correct? Am I
Yep.
wrong?
Yep.
Okay. Frater says Robert Anton Wilson, who used the Timothy Leary circuit of the mind method, advanced it and talks about the mechanics. You think and say over and over and over, I am going to find money. I'm going to find money, and within a few days you will find money. When you might have found money, and when you might have found money in a long time. Okay, I understand that a little bit.
Mhm.
But he came out and said, "Not of found." Okay, thank you for sharing that, Frater. Appreciate that very, very much. But I don't know. So manifesting a demon or
Yep.
a cryptid. Why would you want to do that?
So a lot of times these are teenagers who are on social media and due to the internet explosion have access to all kinds of things. And, I'll take a case in point, the Rake, which is a new paranormal phenomenon. It's this white thing that crawls on all floors that kind of looks like the Scream, if you're familiar with that painting. And it walks kind of sort of like an arachnid on his arms. It's really weird looking. But, this has originated over in Oregon. There was a lady who professed to have seen it at the foot of her bed. A kid had seen and heard something in their shed in their property. They had a couple of acres, so he went to check it out, and this thing came flying out at him. He has it on video. So, I mean, I could go out there and say, oh my God, Shawn and I were on this investigation, and we saw this angel looking creature, but the angel was cobalt blue, and we got the name Winifred.
Sounds like an alien. Ashitar. Good.
And we're out there, and you and I are saying this thing, jumped from tree to tree, and there was a Blessed Mother statue, and we think it came from God, and that it's some kind of blue angel. And we go out there, and it's fascinating, and we talk about it, and then people start believing what we're talking about. So then
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So then there's that snowball effect. We saw this in Slender Man. Slender Man was never a cryptid that you and I ever knew about, but it became a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah, plus also the Lady in Black.
Exactly. I
The
mean,
Lady in Black.
yeah. So, I mean, yeah, are people making this stuff up? I don't know. Are they doing it to make themselves more popular and believable? I don't know. Is it something they honestly did see that maybe was a hallucination? It could be anything.
All right, Frater says we give avatars of astral body through the mechanics of our will and magic to natural currents, like a puppet that comes to life, but the hand controlling it is us and something beyond. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting on that one. I don't know. I would not want to manifest a damn cryptid, nor would I want to manifest a ghost. Okay. I mean, you know how I am being in the city. Like, how if I'm going to freaking go out in the woods, and you know what I mean? And go say, okay, Mr. Bigfoot, come and get me, or come here, Mr. Wolfman, come here and get me. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's real hard for me um, to even think about manifesting it. Um, so, if I'm not mistaken, the rake, okay, like I was talking to you before the show, the rake is off a double game or a board game or whatever it is. And just because maybe these kids who saw this so-called Rake, um, but they knew it from the board game or whatever and how they were playing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just it's so full of crap, man. If you really want to know, I was looking at that picture, and we are going to do a show on it. But I think when over in Russia, they did an experiment with 4 or 5 guys, and they threw them in a room with just a bed, food, and stuff like that. And after all, they wanted to see how long they could stay alive, right?
Okay.
And eventually, they turned into monsters that looked like the Rake. Okay.
Right. Right.
A Rake also, to me, when I looked at that video or that picture or the video of it, the Rake to me looks like a freaking, a shapeshifter. Okay.
Right.
Um, so, so to me, by just looking at what you sent me, and I'm not knocking you, honey, I'm just giving you my honest opinion here.
Right.
I have a real hard time believing that that was even a Rake in what you sent me.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, I don't believe it. I mean, I believe there's more stuff out there that we don't know about, but none of these things seem credible.
They don't seem credible, no. But then again, if you go out in the woods and what is credible is that you got a lot of people who really believe in the Bigfoot, all right, or Sasquatch,
Yep.
whatever in the hell you want to call them. Okay. No one's has seen any, except for a couple. You know what I mean? But it's just like, but it seems like they're more focused on Bigfoot and the Wolfman and all kinds of other stuff than just this freaking Rake.
Right, exactly. This was something new that I've never heard of. I happened to be watching and it popped up. So I started Googling. It was like, it's kind of an internet explosion like Slender Man was all years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was even a kid who killed someone. I think it was another child, and she blamed it on Slender Man. That Slender Man told her to do it. So, like,
Oh yeah.
why do you think? Go ahead.
I think that case was where there was 2 girls that killed another girl, and their defense was that the Slender Man made them do it.
Yeah. And why do you think people make paranormal? What do you think they get out of it?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Why do you think people make up the paranormal? What do you think they get out of it?
Well, good question. Well, first of all, and I'm glad that was a good question. First of all, a lot of people out there who make up stories of the paranormal, they're loners. Okay, they don't fit into nowhere, right? And they
Like us.
Oh, I'm not me, man. I'm wild like out there. I'm the one that like kind of hides away from people because I can't deal with them sometimes. But no, is a loner, and people don't really pay attention to the person. And it's like, maybe if I come up with something, then people will talk to me for a while. And then, and then I'll just start getting this energy like, oh, wow, they really believe in what I said. And so they continue to make all these different paranormal stuffs up. You know what I mean? And it just like, and what it's like in recovery, okay? You get people coming in off the street, everyone loves them, they get their chip, everyone's happy, boom, 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 they feel excited, they feel like they're worth something. And as well as I know, after 30, 60 days, it goes away. And these people are like looking like, hey, where's all the love at?
Right.
Okay. And so what they do, they want that love back. So what do? They go out and relapse and come back in, and it's the same old thing. That's just like people pretending on with the paranormal. paranormal,
Right.
cryptids. You know what I mean?
Why do you think people jump on the bandwagon? Like, say you make up this, you and I are talking about that weird angel-looking blue thing, and why do you think people would start jumping on the bandwagon?
The reason why I would think why they would jump on that bandwagon hunt is because they're paranormal investigators, and a lot of them are out to see if it really exists. If it don't exist, it gives them the opportunity to go out with their cameras and all their equipments to go out and try to find this thing. And even though they don't find it, right, it just keeps people coming back for more. Look at Blue Mist Road, okay? Um, when you saw the Wendigos or Wendigos, when John saw the Wendigos, you know what I mean? I still have a hard time believing in that. I really do.
Right.
And the reason why I do, I love your son. I love you. I love you guys. But for some reason, I cannot see a Wendigo being out in North Park unless, hon, it was manifested.
Right.
Okay. So could John saw a Wendigo movie and manifested it, and that's what he saw. I'm not knocking him. I'm
Right.
just
Right.
trying. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be the devil's advocate here.
Right. Exactly. And who's to say that other people haven't thought about it too? Because there is the story that a man killed his family and buried them in the septic system out there. So I mean,
never heard that one. Never heard that story.
Oh, yeah, that was one that was dug up by one of my group, that there was a man who lived back there that cannibalized his family and buried it in a septic tank. So they were all talking about that too. So could it have been a whole? Because if you know anything about the Windy Boys, they are Native Americans that turned to cannibalism and became the Wendigos.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, too, Shaman turned into Wendigos.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's real hard for me to see that place with the Wendigos in it. Now, do I think that there are a lot of African American spirits out there? Hell yeah, because before North Park became a park, it was a farmland, and they did a lot of KKK out there. Okay, they hung a lot of people out in that area. And if you go and walk the road from the beginning down to the cross, the cross down there, the four corners there, whatever you call it, there's this overabundance of African American spirits that are living down there.
Right. And I mean, it could have even been, one of them that practiced hoodoo or a religion from Africa that manifested something scary to get us the hell out of there.
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that. I see how this debate's going. You're going to prove, no matter how hard it is, that Wendigo was there.
I just know I've never heard that noise before, and growing up in the country and seeing wolves and coyotes in different areas that I've been, hiking.
Is it possible, how cats make different noises, right? Okay. Is it possible that two coyotes were duking it out there?
No, because I've seen coyotes and heard coyotes fight before.
Okay. All right. Just wondering.
Yeah, it was a very weird. It was in between what a wolf and a coyote sound like. Okay. It was just really bizarre, the whole thing.
Well, like my philosophy, to where I respect what everybody believes in, right? I'm just trying to figure out how it fits into, North Park, to be honest with you. And for some reason, I don't understand how it could. Now, if we were down in Mon City, okay,
right?
I can't say Monongahela, but down there, now there was a lot of Native Americans that were down there, and there was a lot of settlers, and there was a lot of Indian tribes duking it out with each other down there. Now, if is it possible when I go into Sue's backyard in her back 40, um, and I hear some strange noises, I have no doubt in my mind it could be a Wendigo. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of was her place.
What's that?
That's the first thing I thought of was her place down that way. Yep. Mhm.
Because there's just like there's a lot of negative energy down there. There was a lot of fighting that went on down there, and over there in Boston, PA, over there in McKeesport. Okay.
Yep.
If you park there and you go along that bike route that they have along the river, I mean, I've done that, investigated that 3 or 4 different times, and each time I go down, it just gets a little bit more creepier. Um,
Renzi Park was very creepy in McKeesport. I went to Penn State McKeesport, Renzi Park at night, and that place was weird.
right, but again, it's right on the river.
Yep,
Okay,
exactly.
so but there was I know on the other side of the river there's a train track that that the train goes, and it was funny. We were doing an EVP session down there a long time ago, and every time we would ask a question and we were about to get an answer, a train would just go by and you couldn't hear it. So it was like, okay, we're not supposed to know your name, blah 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 blah. But down there, um, it was pretty it was creepy. I saw a lot. What was really crazy, you had your 2 separate types of spirits down there. You had your Native Americans, but you also had the people that were guys that worked in the coal mines down there. All right,
Yep.
you can actually see them walking down the path carrying their the lights that they have
Right.
for the candles and stuff like that. So um, I I like that area. What was the other one? The Green Man Tunnel over in South Park, right?
Yeah.
Um, now there's 2 tunnels over there, right?
I've never been there, so I'm not real. I know
Okay,
that I've heard that it's there, and I've heard there's one in Beaver County that has a green can, so I'm
no,
not
no,
sure.
the original one is in South Park,
Okay.
but the story behind that was some guy was working on some electrical pole, electricity, and he got shocked and he turned green. You know what I
Oh
mean?
wow. Okay.
Yeah. You got to look at the story. People who are listening to my show who are overseas or in other different parts of the United States, just Google the Green Man Tunnel in South Park, Pennsylvania. And it's a pretty interesting story about that. But actually, over there now, there are 2 tunnels. One tunnel on the right um, is for cars, and there's one on the left hand side that's all filled with salt. Okay, because when it
Huh.
snows, they throw salt out on the road. Yeah, and you'd be surprised at how much activity we got around that one tunnel um, that had the salt in it.
Uh-huh.
It was like the spirits were like trapped in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
so was did I really enjoy Green Man's Tunnel? I The only enjoyment that I got out of it was watching the people that I brought on the investigation with me, who wanted to go and who were like really new at ghost hunting. They had a marvelous time,
Good. Good.
you know.
We went to a tunnel. Do you remember the tunnel we went to down in Peters Township area?
Yeah, that was alongside. That was the Montour Trail. Yeah, we took it. We went down 79 and we got off on Hendersonville, and right out of the exit on Hendersonville, there's a bike place, like a little restaurant where people park their cars and they take their bike on the Montour Trail. And when you go down the trail, maybe a couple miles, when you're walking on it, um, you come to a bridge.
Right.
Okay. And, there's the bridges first, and then there's the tunnel. They did repair at one time. You couldn't cross into that tunnel because they never really repaired it, and it was like in shambles. But there was a long time ago. I want to say 1920s or something like that. There was a major train wreck down around that area, around
Okay.
where the tunnel was located, and a lot of people died. Okay, and there are times now I've been down there like 4 times, been to the tunnel like 3 times, and you just heard people screaming in the tunnel. Okay, you heard a lot of people screaming in the tunnel, and you snap some pictures, you get some good orbs, you get some good shadows, your typical evidence that you get when it comes on to the show, um, when you go on that investigation. And so uh, that to me, but walking that trail, okay, is extremely creepy because there's no lights on that trail. And,
Right.
and with that part of being the railroad at one point in time, there was a lot of, negative energy on there, no positive. It was bad. And, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, I had to keep looking over my shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're there, but,
Yep. Yep. I mean, even when I was with you, you kept doing it. So I mean,
right, right. But how about you?
well, what do you think? What do you think of that? It always seems like there are a lot of tunnels that are haunted. Why do you think that is?
Why there's a lot of tunnels haunted?
Yeah.
The reason being, I would think, is because a lot of accidents that could have happened in the tunnels as they were being built. Um, Also, car wrecks in the tunnels. Um, Now, see, not a lot of people, but some people believe that if you walk through a tunnel, you're actually walking through a portal.
Right.
And all right, so what I'm thinking is, and I mean, there was a couple of times I walked through a tunnel, and something was like, "Where does it go?" You know, I see it
Right.
from the outside, and I see the tunnel, but when I look into it, it's like really, really dark in there. And I'm thinking, where's this going to end up at? You know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I kind of like believe that um, that tunnels could be a portal to another dimension.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of what are they constructed with? What is the material around them? Because there could be any kind of conductive type geology around there. Um, like you said, the one in South Park is full of salt. So you have salt in there on top of whatever it's made out of and whatever's around it. A lot of tunnels are near flowing water. So, I mean, there's all kinds of energy that could be building
Right.
from all kinds of natural things. And when something happens, good or bad, it raises the energy.
No, you know what? If you look at up in Gettysburg, you got Sachs Cover Bridge. Okay,
Mhm.
and on Sachs Cover Bridge, for people who don't know, is what Sachs is all about. Okay, back in 1863, July 5th, uh, the Confederate Army, when they got their butts kicked in Gettysburg, so they retreated back down into Virginia. And the way they went through this bridge called Sachs Cover Bridge. Now, there is supposed to have been 3 guys, 3 soldiers that went AWOL, and they caught them and they hung them from the trees. Okay. They hung them
Okay.
from the bridge. Okay. And also, there's about a woman that got killed, um, stuff like that. And the bridge is very, very haunted. It's like one of the most haunted places out in Gettysburg. But there's also a bridge up there. It's called the Suicide Bridge. Okay. And
Oh,
that's
wow.
up, yeah, it's up from Sachs. The name of the bridge is called the Eisenhower Bridge. Okay. But in the paranormal field, we consider it the Suicide Bridge because there was a lot of people that did commit suicide off that bridge. I mean, the drop into the creek isn't maybe about 12 foot, right? But it's real
Okay.
shallow. It's real shallow. It's not deep at all. So that's a good place. You know, if you wanted, if people did want to do it or did do it there, that would have been a good place to do it. But the name of the bridge is called the Eisenhower Bridge. And ladies and gentlemen, please, if you feel free, uh, Google
Is
uh, Google the
is
Sachs Cover Bridge and Google the Eisenhower slash Suicide Bridge, and you can hear some stories from it. Go
is
ahead.
it near Eisenhower's farm out there?
No, nowhere near. Nowhere near. Um, no,
I was just curious for the folks out there who may assume that, since he does have a home out that way.
yeah, he does have a farm. He has a B&B out there, but no, this was named after his son. This
Okay.
bridge was named after his son. And then we investigated it 2 or 3 times up there. And you know what? Yeah, I mean, you get a little good evidence. You know, you get some real good evidence up there. You do see a lot of shadow figures. You do see, you do hear weird noises. Okay. So it's a nice place to go. The walk from where you park your car, you cross the bridge and go up a little farther. It's not too long of a distance. It's not too long of a walk. And you can only go so far and it's blocked off because there's a farmer that has a farm up there. Um,
Oh, okay.
so it's pretty interesting, and a lot of people do go there. A lot of paranormal groups do go there, and that's another thing. When I would like go to Gettysburg for an investigation, sometimes I wouldn't go out to investigate. I would just go out to see how people are running their investigations.
Right.
Okay.
It's a beautiful area,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be neat to see what other people do
Right. But here
to
comes.
bounce ideas.
But here's what I want to come up with. And to this day, it still happens. And to this day, it still pisses me off. Okay. There's a lot of egotistical people out there that have groups that think that their group is the best group out there, um, and they look down on other people, on other groups, don't want
Huh.
to help them out. Oh yeah, there's a lot of it. I hear a lot of people still write to me or text me and tell me about people who are treating them like crap because
So there's more than just glitter pants in Hollywood.
oh yeah, oh absolutely, absolutely. But that's one thing that really, like I said, pisses me off is why do you have to cut down another group? Why
Right.
do you have to cut down that other person?
Well,
You
and
know,
that's it. Like, I've seen personally where people don't want you in their group for whatever reason, and on down the line, they ask you to come back.
mm-hmm. Well,
Why do they do that? I've seen that in the paranormal world too. I mean, we've seen, the two guys from New England were best of friends, and their group broke up, and then, a guy left the group down in Vegas, and that kind of thing on TV.
mm-hmm.
So, you see that all the time on TV, but like even local groups do it. I don't get it.
Well, maybe, it's like it could be under another regime. Maybe it's, you know, um, maybe they knew that you could have been, you were a good investigator. And I'm not just saying you, I'm talking about anybody.
People in general, right? Yeah,
Yeah, people
yeah.
in
We're
general,
going with the Hollywood types, right?
so it's like, hey, we need help. Maybe help, it don't hurt to ask. You know what I mean?
Well, it's part of para unity as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, but it's para unity out there is a joke because there's no para unity there. And I mean, all over the paranormal field, not just around Pennsylvania. I
Right.
mean, I have a couple friends that go out of their way to help new groups, to help groups out there. Um,
My cousin went through it down in Florida. There were a bunch of groups down there fighting. So it seems to be like
and what's it all about? I mean, what is so what? So you got this camera here and you got this piece of equipment here, and all I have is a K2 and an EVP, thing. I'm not impressed with all that bull crap because that's a lot of machinery to carry around. It's a lot of wires that people put out just to plug them in. Okay. Um, I've seen groups, I've been with groups, okay, that, they say they're going to start their investigation at 9, and all of a sudden it come 11:30 and they just hooked up all their cameras. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it'd be like, so, so to me, and what's that camera going to do? It's going now, granted, Val got a really good picture off her phone camera. Doreen, she got a good picture off a video. Um, but I mean, to go out and set up and get this and get that and get this piece of equipment, so what? I don't care. I don't care if you got it or not. I don't want it. But we're all in this on a, um, what are we on? Um, we're on a quest to help people out. That's what it's all about.
Right. Right.
I
It's a
remember
quest
back.
for knowledge. It's a quest for scientific proof. It's a quest for computer proof. Some people are out it to be famous. I mean, I can't dog them on that. I personally don't want to, but
Mhm.
there's so many things out there we don't know about that why not have several people trying to figure, you know? It's more
Right.
believable. It's less of a conspiracy then.
But you also got to remember too now, right? There are what do they call parapsychologists, okay,
Right?
talking about manifesting shit from their brain. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what a and it's like, okay, guys, then why don't you help out the paranormal group, or and maybe put your heads together and see, hey, let's try something here. Let's
Right.
work together and still, stabbing each other in the back all the time. And the scientific, it's like the Holy Trinity. You got your scientific, parapsychologists, and you got your paranormal groups. Okay. I remember when I started in 2006, it was a big thing between the scientific part of the paranormal and spiritual part of paranormal. I mean, we duked it out left and right. I mean, they wouldn't accept anything that we felt, and because it wasn't scientifically proven, you know. But we really, really duked it out. And at one point in time, it was so bad, I just sat down and I said, "This ain't going to happen no more. Not with Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. I'm not going to let it happen." And so I'm like, okay, if you want to be a scientific person in my group, then you're going to have to relate to the spiritual side. And maybe if we work together, we can come up with a conclusion of some sort. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what the whole infighting is. You would think that a scientific team would want to work with a spiritual team and vice versa, just so that there's double proof. In my mind, I'm a spiritual person and I love science too. Why can't you meld something together and help each other learn? I just never understood the whole battle. I never understood making up paranormal experiences or cryptids or, conspiracy theories that make up. I just never understood anything.
I
How
just,
about you?
well, me, like I said, it after about 4 or 5 years that I had PPS back in what 2011, it was like no more, no
Right.
more. We're all going to work as a team, and if you don't like it, get the hell out of my group.
Mhm.
And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. That's the way I was.
Right.
I respected everybody. I respected the scientific, the parapsychologists. I respected the people who did not like me. I respected that. I respected the people that actually went out and got their own group starting stuff.
Right.
And everyone thought I would be mad at people for doing that. And I'm like, no, I'm not mad. I'm just happy to see that it's time for them to move on because, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, people are only put into your presence for a certain amount of time. And when that time is up, they're going to leave. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. That's the way it works. Okay. And I have to say that I was honored that I had a lot of people that worked with PPS that went out and started on their own groups, and some, succeeded, some didn't. But it's just like you had to have a very good camaraderie with my group in order to be in my group. How about you? What about your group?
Yeah. Well, I'm in a new group. I actually missed the investigation this past weekend because I was sick with my complex regional pain. But yeah, that's what I like about the new group too. Is it's very similar to the methodology that you and I, that you taught me, and we're going to be doing some new and upcoming investigations, and we're going to try different types of experiments that our leader actually, thought of, and other members of our team. So I'm pretty excited about that. We meshed really well. And I know, like, when my team broke off of Pittsburgh Paranormal here in Butler, you always were there. You mentored us if we had a question. Sometimes you came and, did investigations with us. Sometimes you reviewed evidence with me. I'd send you stuff. So, I mean, even though you mentored us and we broke off from Pittsburgh Paranormal and we had the Butler chapter, you didn't leave us at the door and say, bye, see you later. You were there.
Right.
You wanted us to succeed. You helped us. And, when we got bigger and started having new members and we were starting to branch off into the Greater Pittsburgh Paranormal Research Society, you were there. You were there. So, I mean, that's one thing I can honestly say. Before you retired, you were there.
Okay.
Even
with me being retired, I'm still there. It's just like,
I have a brand new group now.
What's that?
That?
I can go at my own pace now.
That's it. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm in a new group now. I'm excited to see things and do things. And you bet your ass I'm going to send you pictures if I have any and ask what you think. I know Frater respects you, so like it wouldn't be going around him or any of that. I'll be like, no, because he's not like that.
You're in a very good group here.
Hell yeah,
a good group. I mean.
Oh yeah. So he's one of my new mentors, and Natasha's one of my new mentors, and she's my sis, and Brittany's one of my BFFs, and I'm getting to know the other people now too, and they seem pretty cool. So yeah, I love it. I think we have a good rapport. I think we have a good camaraderie.
Do you see how the transition goes? You see how that transition goes? You started off PPS, then you went to your group, and then you went to the GPS, whatever one, and now you're with Freighters. That's how it's supposed to work. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
What is Freighters group called?
We are. I got to think of it now. You'd have to ask him because I'm so bad with names. I want to say the Celestial Parasiters. Because I know. So what he did was he had a group and it broke off into different people and they formed different groups. And he handpicked this group. And I know he was bouncing ideas on the name. I'm not sure if he's come up with a name yet because we are brand new.
All right. So, I don't want you to get in trouble if you say the wrong name. Sorry, Frater. I'm not testing her either. I just thought maybe we could come up with a name so my people who listen to me could actually, go and check you guys out, check your website or check your Facebook page on it. That would be pretty cool. But I don't know. The manifestations. I mean, I guess it can be, the more you can hope for and not hope for. Who knows? I know one thing. Okay. It's hotter than hell. It's still hot.
I'm actually cold, so.
you're actually cold. That must be nice to be cold.
Well, Butler was
Listen,
like very, our temperature was a lot lower than Pittsburgh.
okay. Listen, we're going to take a 30-second break here and we will definitely come back. Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
everybody go up and stretch your legs or do what you got to do. After 30 seconds, we'll start again. And welcome back to Into the Night with Shawn and Tara. I want to thank Carnation for sponsoring the second hour of Into the Night. Thank you very much, Carnation. I've been trying your products out lately, and they're pretty decent. You know, I kind of like them. I really love them.
Yeah.
Hopefully you come out with a new product that I can try, and and on the show I can give a little feedback to the people who are there.
I love their instant breakfasts. I love to cook with their evaporated milk and their sweet condensed milk. So that's who I swear by.
So we are in the second hour of Into the Night with Shawn Kelly, and nobody is in the chat room. So Donald Trump must be on or something like that, or somebody important. But you know what? We got our listeners out there, all over the world. We got our listeners here in Pennsylvania and all over the United States. So whoever's sticking around and listening to us, welcome. We're welcome to have you. Before I go on, I would like, if there like anybody listening, if you want to go to the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page, okay, go ahead, like us, and you'll be able to pick up on all the shows that we have into the night because they are posted on the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society Facebook page. If there is any kind of topic that you would like to bring up that you think we could talk about, or if you would like to be a guest on our show, feel free to contact me or Tara,
Perfect. Yeah.
And then we
We'd love
can
to
go
have
from
you.
there. And also, I'd like to get some of your feedback on how do you think our show is going. If you think we need to improve anywhere or just keep doing what we're doing, because it does seem to pretty work, Also, if you ever want to be on our show, you have to realize now that there are 200 servers on UPRN radio. And it's just not on Tuesday nights. You got the Horsefly Chronicles on Monday. You got Lorelei. She has a program on Mondays, Horseshoe Chronicles, Horsefly Chronicles. On Tuesday night, right after this show, you're going to have Trish Moe and her show called The Missing Piece. And, I know Trish personally, and I have actually worked with her. I co-hosted with her on Chasing Prophecy. And I'm telling you, I listen to her shows and she's great. She has a lot of knowledge. And then on Into the Night with me here on Tuesday night. And Wednesday, you got Joe Montaldo, who is the founder of UPRN Talk Radio. He has, he has his own show on there. It starts at 8 o'clock. I see, Tara, that's my problem, man, because I have it on the tip of my tongue, and but I just can't seem to think about it when I want to say it. So is that ADHD? What is that? It's like
It could be that. It could be stress affecting you. It could be any number of things.
Now I just remember it's his show on Wednesday nights is The Centralist. And then right after Joe's, you got Michelle Desiree. She's going to kill me because I can't pronounce her name. You got her show with The Outer Realm. And so no matter what day of the week it is, if you tune into UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7, you're going to listen to a show. Now, all I know is that they added on shows, and you can catch some of the shows on in the afternoon. Okay, a lot of the shows come in from England, they come from Australia. Okay, so this channel has so much to offer people, who have different, um, who like different things besides the paranormal and conspiracies or whatever like that. There's a lot of shows on this whole network here, and they're great. They're really, really good. So please continue. I don't know if Joe has an app on that or not. I'm not sure. I have to ask him about it. But save your save this link. You know, just go to UPRN Talk Radio on I guess the web, and then you'll be able to get any show you want. And I think you can also actually go to SoundCloud. You can go to SoundCloud and you can actually find all my shows, Into the Night shows, you can find on SoundCloud. All you do is, go to SoundCloud and you search for Into the Night with Shawn Kelly, and there's all my shows, and you can pick whatever show you want to listen to, which is pretty cool.
Yep, and you're also on YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube too. Yeah, that's right. Pittsburgh Paranormal Society has a YouTube channel, and we're also on the UFO Paranormal Radio YouTube station too. So, I mean, we're everywhere, So if you're bored one night, just sitting on your porch, have a little bit of sweet tea, like they say down south, or having a couple smokes and, having a cup of coffee, bring your laptop out, or just bring your phone out and tune into this station. And I tell you what, you're going to hear a lot of good programs. Whew. How about you? Any advertising for you, Sarah?
I just want to take a shout out there to Little Shop of Lilith, who is my friend Natasha's shop. And also, we are doing something here at Butler Memorial Park this weekend on Sunday. It is our local skate shop is putting on a festival to help somebody local that has a kidney disease, I believe it is. So we're going to have local bands and artisans all day. I think it's from, I want to say 10 in the morning until 9 at night, if I recall correctly. But anybody that's near Butler or Pittsburgh that wants to come, it's going to be a good time, and it's donation based.
Awesome. And I'm working, unfortunately, so I won't be there. So nobody's in the chat room again. So if anybody wants to stop in, feel free to do so. But if there's anything else that is important for you, then that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? But you can always catch our show on Tuesday nights. Now, what I'd like to bring up, and I'm going to rant here a little bit. Okay, I ranted last week on it, and I'm going to rant a little bit more on this. All right. This past week, with all the crap that happened in Maui, and all the different scenarios that has came out, what bothers me the most is that I was in the Navy, and I work for the government, I guess you want to say it like that. But you know what? Whenever the Coast Guard was stopping people from giving supplies and stuff back to the people, I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? Why is the Coast Guard doing that? And it's funny because I would get mad at the Coast Guard, and I would get mad at David Muir, who's has that ABC nightly news at 6:30. I used to get mad at him. And then I sat down and I realized I really can't get mad at them because all they're doing is expressing. They're telling us what they have to say. So I do want to apologize to David Muir, believe it or not. I want to apologize to him because I always blamed him. I did not like him, you know, and because I was so stuck on him, being selfish and not telling the truth and saying all kinds of bad stuff about Donald Trump that wasn't, bad. He I don't know. It just the news, the media is unbelievably corrupt, and I will say that. I have no doubt about it like that. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen who are listening, I'm just waiting for the FBI to come knocking on my door tomorrow or sometime during the week and to say, hey, you know what, Shawn, you really seriously need to keep your mouth shut because we don't want to hear it. You're not allowed to say something. But to me, it's called freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution. It's the first thing in the Constitution is the freedom of speech. What I don't understand is why people are holding other people back from speaking the truth. And people are getting arrested. People are getting killed. People are just told to shut up. But that's not what our Constitution was all about. I mean, you could talk about whatever you want. It's funny. It's because that the Democrats can say whatever the hell they want to say about Donald J. Trump. But then again, if we want to say something about a Democrat, okay, we're not allowed to do it. Or whatever we're telling you, whatever we want to say, it's not the truth. It's a no-win situation, What happened to this world? What happened to the United States? There are so many fearmongers out there right now that got people going crazy. Talking about the central bank issue. Talking about what the government did in Maui. I read a couple things and I saw a couple things and I heard a couple things from people that, I'm not sure if I should say this, but there was a clash of the Titans down there in Maui. I'll just say that. And I guess to protect myself, this is for educational purposes. And, it's what I saw. I am not the inventor of this story. But there was the clash of the Titans down there. And we'll just say the M's saw the F's doing something one morning, which was totally illegal. And the M's fired upon the F's. So there was conflict over stuff that was happening down the mountain. For the
Never
life
pissed off a devil, dog.
Oh please, they're a bunch of puppies, man. They're a bunch of puppies. Marines are puppies. That's all I could say. They're puppies. They're not bulldogs. They're puppies. Marines are puppies. That's all they are. They go, oh, you got to take us there. You got to take us there. You got to take us there. But no,
I can't. Okay, so was when we had 13 servicemen and women killed when we pulled out of Iraq and Afghanistan. The crap that the President of the United States did then made me completely ill. Looking at his watch, rolling his eyes when these men and women were pulled off of the plane. To see the president and leader of the free world fall asleep at a memorial service for the people of Maui.
Yep.
1 in 4 children are not going to school this year. There is one school district in that entire area. One. So if you think about it, 1 in 4 kids.
It scared the cat.
Yep.
Go.
I did. Because I don't get irate very often. But to see him fall asleep and then make up another story going on and on and on about how he almost lost his classic Corvette. Do you really think these people want to hear about how he almost lost his classic Corvette? Yeah, he also said he almost lost his wife, which I can give him that. Okay, they would probably, but the story was made up. He said lightning struck a lake and then changed it to a pond by his house, and it caused an electrical fire which went through his air conditioning system. No, it was a small kitchen fire.
It just shows, that he's a jagoff.
I mean, okay, over 60% of Hawaii are Democrats. I'm not saying if I'm a Democrat or Republican, but think about it. This is the man you voted for, and he is over 60% in the lead of, if somebody were to vote now that was a Democrat, they would vote for him. What about Robert Kennedy? There has to be somebody better than him.
Huh? Yeah, I like Robert Kennedy.
I do too, but I'm talking about somebody has to be better than Biden. My God. And I want you guys to listen to me wherever you are. Look up BlackRock and Vanguard. They not only own the power company in Maui, they are owners of the United States media. They are owners of the railroad that wrecked in East Palestine. Their hands are all over a lot of things. And if you don't think there's a uniparty, Democrat, Republican combo, all these old timers, you have to be insane. And there's a theory out there that Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago, everything that he had there paper-wise, that they said that he stole and that they brought him up on charges for, there's a story out that it was proof of the uniparty in the swamp.
But back to Maui. Do you know, everybody, there are 1,050 children missing? And what's crazy about it, all the stuff that you see coming from Maui, you don't see none of those parents who have them children who are missing. They're not getting on TV.
Nope.
They're not begging and hoping that their children do get on.
Nope. And how is it that everybody lost their homes and businesses except famous people like Oprah Winfrey and different people that have property down there? What do you think?
Well,
Why do you
think?
that is?
Because they want to buy up Maui, hon. They want to buy it up. They want all that land so they can either put their 50-minute city in or actually just like wipe it all out and just put up very nice places, a lot of buildings, a lot of hotels and stuff like that up there. Think about it, right? What did Joe Biden get? Joe Biden gave them $700. That was it. The families that lost everything in Lahaina lost everything. He gave them $700 freaking dollars, and it came out, I'm going to say a figure of 14 million or 14 billion, whatever it was. Then he comes around and he gives money over to Ukraine, 23, 25 billion. Now, come on. It's the United States of America. He is the president. He's supposed to take care of the USA. But he doesn't. He doesn't. He just steps on us.
Well, and where do you think the children went? What do you think happened to them?
Okay, where I think the children have, a lot of them died, but from what I understand, that I have to be careful how I say this. So I'm going to say this. I can't just come out and say it because I can get in a lot of trouble, and so can you. So you got to be careful on how you say it. You do. You really need to. All right. But I think that some people, took them and sent them somewhere else. Because it's really big down there. And think about it, right? Think about it. I'm going to get back to that damn sergeant or that captain or that police dude down there, where he gave out an order where he says they put a blockade up and did not allow the people to get out. And they made them turn around and go back into the fire. And if you looked at the pictures after the aftermath, okay, everyone said that the fire was caused by a down power line. That's a bunch of horseshit. How many power lines have you been around, Tara, that the trees fall on and actually starts a fire? Not too many. Okay. Now, the reason why you are seeing in this, I'm going to put this all together and I'm going to put it out there, in a couple of weeks or whatever. I'm going to make a presentation of it because it's just ridiculous. But the reason why you saw the blue car that did not get touched, or the blue umbrellas, or any of Oprah's stuff and Bezos stuff, they had blue roofs. And so whatever was launched, whatever laser pointer laser thing that caused these fires, right? It didn't penetrate the blue. That was one color that it couldn't penetrate. And that's why with everything blue, they never got touched. Plus they own Hawaii. Come on. Will you freaking smile? Come on.
It's a serious topic.
I know, but you can smile when being serious. You don't have to look like you're going to take on the world. That's my opinion. That's not. Hey, yeah. Michael, good to see you, buddy. Hey, welcome for stopping in, bud.
What do you think of? So they said that a lot of it was resort, and a lot of it was planting stuff that wasn't native to Hawaii. Maybe people brought it over from the States or different areas, maybe Japan, to make it look nice. Like, the landscaping for hotels and different businesses down there, and that, when this stuff died off in the winter time or whatever, that they didn't prune it right and they just left it go, and that it was all rotten and timber and stuff they should clean up every year and didn't.
Never heard that one before.
Yeah, I had heard that was what they were blaming it on.
They're coming up with every freaking type of excuse to try to. They really think we're dumb, Tara. They really, really think we're fucking dumb. But you know what? We're actually seeing it. And what's really cool about it is everybody is awake now. Everybody is starting to see what the hell's going on. Okay. Now, I have a picture on my phone. I didn't post it up here because I want to make sure I have all my, I's and T's dotted and crossed. Okay. But if you look, they have a satellite picture of Lahaina, whatever. Okay. And you see the road where had all those cars were burnt out, right?
Right.
On the road, it's just that section is really black. It's all dark. Okay. Right. What's up, buddy? Bullshit what, bud? But also, if you look at the complete picture, okay, at the other different places, there's little black spots, right? little sparks, dark areas. So there is no way in hell that thing was caused by a freaking thing with a tree going on
Well,
top
and
of
other
Elon.
people have seen that actual steel has been melted, and that forest fires don't get hot enough to melt steel.
It was aluminum. But yeah, so in a nutshell, for me, what our government is doing is not good. It isn't. I don't know what happened to it. I'm 61 years old, and it's going to shit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
all
mean,
we can do, we can talk about it, we can talk about it, we can talk about it, we can talk about it. But my very good friend, says that we have to do something about it. And we have to go to the polls when they go to vote, you know. But look at all the bullcrap that's coming up with that. They're talking about in mid-September to go on a full down lockdown. Okay. Because this new variant coming in from Canada. Canada. Come on. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
getting him away where Donald J. Trump not to talk. You know. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to do a little bit more research, and I'm going to still read some news. All right. I'm going to do some stuff and see what I can come up with. All right. But as of for right now, I am so disappointed in our government right now. I really am.
They discussed me back in the days of Katrina, and this. I mean, I can understand them saying that they didn't want people around stepping on what could be human remains, but there's no reason why they couldn't have cordoned off an area that they had already searched and made that where they staged everything from, where they got stuff off boats and gave people diapers and food and water. There's no reason they couldn't. And I'm sorry, but we have so many military personnel right there that could be helping.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor's right there.
Mm-hmm. I have no new I have no words to say because I just don't know what's going on. So I this is that was my little bit of venting this week for that. It just getting to the point with me. And it's not just me. I see a lot of other people that are like in the same boat as I am. How much more can they put on us? How much more? How much more grief? How much more pain? How much more lies? How much more?
All you have to do is go to a local grocery store. There are people crying trying to figure out what they can afford to buy.
Did you see the one thing on the news now that this lady, she has a chip in her hand? She literally has a chip in her hand. And they show her buying groceries with this chip. There are Whole Foods now. I think it's Whole Foods. I'm not sure. But in order to get into that store, you have to have a chip on your hand, in your hand. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come on. I mean, what more? I mean,
And, food pantries are running out of food. People are getting mad because they're going to food pantries and they have to wait 3 hours in line and it's hot and miserable. But they have to remember that a lot of this stuff is volunteers.
but yeah.
There's not a lot of people out there.
I mean, it's coming up, and sure, it's the end of Michael. Okay, here we go. Cool. Okay, thank you, Michael. I read it. Thank you, Mike. Michael Ann says FEMA got caught red-handed by our military-bearing people. We have fires worldwide right now. It's an epidemic of a pandemic. 235 in Canada alone. At this present time, and people are not allowed to leave their property not even to help a neighbor in distress. They stopped all the food distributions in Hawaii. You cannot even help a neighbor there. Wow. Thanks, Mike. Really.
Thanks, Mike. I haven't seen
truly
you in a while, buddy.
appreciate I truly appreciate you saying that, dude.
Yep.
But come on, think about it, right? What he just said. You can't help. It, come on. You got to help your neighbor out. You got to tell that policeman, that chief of police down there in Maui, go
Pound salt.
pound salt or kick him in the ass or send him back to freaking Las Vegas where he belongs. How can you put a blockade up for people going in, getting out of that fire, and they told them that they had to turn around and go back in to the fire? And what about the children? That's what bothers me the most. Is the
Think
children.
about all the kids that were off that day, had to stay home by themselves while the parents were working.
Right. And think about, why aren't the parents on TV talking? Why aren't they? Why is it that when a reporter comes up and he calls out the mayor of that town about the babies, the kids,
Right.
and the next day he goes on and he's talking to some dude, I don't know who it was, but there were people following him as he was talking to this guy.
Yeah.
They were calling him out. I'm like, why? You can't.
Well, my thing is too, okay, here's the thing. There are whole families missing. I'm sorry, but if I had family there, I would be all over the news. Where are all the people that are missing their entire family? What
Right.
if, like, say I had a sister down there and she was married and had 5 kids, they were all missing? Where are these people?
I don't know. Michael says, I may not be around as much, but I'm watching everything. And you know what, Michael? I truly, truly appreciate that, brother. I really do.
Thanks, dude.
For watching everything. I appreciate it so much. Wow. That's a good guy right there, Mr. Michael Anthony. He's a good dude.
Yep.
You know, he's a good dude. But I don't know. I got to say that it's possible that those children are in one of those underground tunnels that they have around O's house or mansion or whatever. It's just so, it's funny that they think, but people aren't freaking stupid anymore. We see what the hell's coming out. You know, they got the freaking, what is that going on tomorrow?
The debate.
The debate. You know, it's funny. Trump said, you know what, I don't have to be there. You know what I mean? And how they're shutting Trump up, trying to.
He's going to be on Tucker Carlson tomorrow, Twitter.
Yeah. And so it's like, I'm really looking forward to the show. And I'm going to, okay, here along. Michael says, kids were sent out into the fires, released from school. Where are the children? Today, number stats only report 850 still unaccounted for. It's much higher, and people in Hawaii are talking. Thank you, Mike. Seriously, thank you for that. Because Tara, to be honest with you, straight up with you, it's all about the children.
Yeah, it is.
We have to protect the children. We really do. And anybody out there listening tonight, anywhere in the United States, anywhere out there in the world, please keep an eye on the kids. Because it's gone on for a long time now. and it seriously needs to stop. It really does. We have to take care of our children. They are our future. We need to protect them. I'm tired of hearing about a lot of them being kidnapped. I'm tired of a lot of them being tortured or stolen, whatever. I'm tired of it. We have
Slave
to do
labor at McDonald's.
what?
Slave labor at McDonald's. They caught those kids that were 10 years old working at McDonald's.
All right, be careful. Be careful what you say, my brother.
That was on the news, though. That was point blank on the news.
But that's not YouTube news. Nah, you know what I mean.
But
we're gonna have to have a conversation here, like down the road. You know, like this is what you can and this is what you can't. You know what I mean?
Cool. So
And I know that you get very agitated, and I know that you like to go off, and sometimes, and so do I, like to get off. But I really am trying not to really truly express. Joe Rogan, I'm not. Okay. I'm not Joe Rogan, and I'm not freaking what's her name? Your friend, Wendy Bell. Okay. But yeah, no, we got to protect the children.
Yeah.
We have to do something about it. So everybody out
if
there,
we see them working in places they shouldn't be, we should call the police.
yeah, or whatever. If you're in a shopping mart, a parking lot at the shopping mall, keep your eye open.
Yeah.
We got to do something about it. If you see it suspicious, call the freaking police. Do something. Because you have to remember, though, honestly, you need to remember, what if it was your child? You know, we got to save the kids. It's that simple. You know, we all have an idea of what's going on. We all have an idea who does it. We do. And they know it too. So we have to do something. And eventually it's going to happen. Eventually we're going to do something. And eventually something's going to happen. They're all going to get caught. You know, I don't know. What's on your mind, Tara?
It just makes me think that nobody's learning. You know, we had that college locally that the red-haired coach walked in on another coach and a young child in the locker room and didn't do anything at that point in time. You know, why? So yeah, you go to a coach and tell them what you saw and he reports it, but why didn't you stop it in the act? Why do you sweep stuff under a rug? Why are there more and more kids missing? Why are there people? Where's Epstein's list? Who's on there? It had all to do with children. Yeah, I'm just saying it had to do all to do with children. Protect our children. Corey Feldman has a documentary about when he was in Hollywood. It's famous. It's all over. You know, like where were the adults for Hollywood? Where were the adults for these kids that are no-name kids? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the children are the future of the world. Like not to be the 80s song.
But true, but not so much. Look at some of what happened to some of the actresses and actors that has happened. Okay.
Yeah.
They were taken out.
Yeah.
They were taken out because they were expressing on how they felt, and they were about the one that really surprises me. And when I saw the video of it was Anne Hess. Okay. That she actually got out of her house or the bed or the dolly, whatever and how they put the people on, you know, because she was going to say something. See, that's it. We're going to talk about it and we're going to get killed. You know what I mean? And if they don't get me, they're going to get my family. And if they don't get my family, they're going to get my friends. You know what I mean? And I've been
Yeah.
pushed to the end of I just been pushed to the end. So I care so much for the children. I care so much for my government. I care for everybody who is an American citizen, a Canadian citizen, around the world citizens. Well, it comes down to me. I'm just getting tired, Tara. I am getting really, really tired of all this crap that's going on. And the only thing that keeps me going is this radio show. What keeps me going is how, doing the show and going to work. You know, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me going. And I don't know more. There's not enough more. I'm just tired of all the hurt, all the pain out there right now in this world. I'm tired of it. You're next.
Yeah. It's disgusting. I don't know anybody that isn't depressed over stuff in the world right now. I don't know anybody that is not affected, whether it's for spiritual practice or just how they're feeling. I mean, seriously, go to a public park, go to a grocery store, go watch people put gas in the car when they only afford $5. It's just the whole thing is just disgusting. Period.
You're really breaking up bad there, Tara.
It's just disgusting, the whole thing. I mean, look at people that are trying to put gas in their vehicles. Look at people, in public parks that are crying because they're depressed. Look at people at the grocery store who's trying to add up how much they can buy for their kids. It's just disgusting.
Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, and I will tell everybody, the show just began, and it's going to be a bad show. It's going to be a rough 2, 3, 4 months, how long it takes. So whoever you believe in, whoever you trust, I believe in God. If you believe in Buddha, if you believe whoever you believe in that helps you get through life one day at a time, start putting your faith into him to help you. Have somebody, use them. That's what they're for. Use them. You just got to have the faith. You got to remain strong. You have to. We all have to do it. And I can guarantee it. And they say it all the time. Karma is a bitch. And karma's going to hit them. And karma's going to hit them good. But you know what? As for now, for me, I'm just going to have to just have faith in God that he's going to be there for me whenever all the shit hits the fan. And trust me, everybody out there, it's going to hit the fan. All hell is going to break loose. But you know what? At the end of it, we're all going to be okay. I believe that wholeheartedly. That's how I feel. How about you?
I'm going to request that everybody pray to the God or goddess of their understanding, whether it's Muhammad, whether it's Allah, whether it's Jehovah, whatever you call the God or goddesses of your understanding, manifest a rebirth in humanity. And, the more vibes and energy that we all send out for a rebirth in humanity, the stronger it will be. And I agree with you that all hell is about to break loose, no matter who wins this election, no matter what happens in the world. We're seeing an implosion of evil. And on the other side, we have a choice. We can either let the evil grow stronger or we can manifest good.
And you know what? I'm not going to be down about it. I'm allowed to be angry. And I'm allowed to express how I feel. And I'm allowed to say what I want to say. But I will tell you all this, I am not going to, I'm going to try my damnedest with God helping me out. Okay. To be stronger for people, to be stronger for me, to be, to help the children, to help children. And that's the biggie. That's all I care about. It's the children. And hopefully, not hopefully, I know one day it's going to happen and they're all going to get busted and they're all going to go to jail. So I just needed to say that. If I lost any friends of mine for saying that, you know what? Well, I'm sorry that you had to do it, because I tell you what, because I burned many bridges, and you know that, Tara. I have burned so many bridges.
Yep.
And I don't rebuild them. This is the United States of America, and we go by the Constitution. And the Constitution, the first thing in the Constitution is freedom of speech. And I have the right to do that. I am a right to say what I want to say.
Not only that, you swore an oath to protect the Constitution. That does end when you retire.
I cannot. You just broke up. The whole sentence just broke up.
You swore the oath to the Constitution when you became a naval veteran, well, a Navy man.
Mm-hmm.
And that does not end when you retire. You swore an oath. Period. End of story.
Right, exactly. Now just think about, if something should happen really bad to Donald J. Trump. Do you know there's like 17 million veterans out there who are extremely pissed off right now?
Yep.
So it's like, but I like what John had to say last week. Okay, I really enjoyed what John had to say, because I did ask him the question: the president told you something to do something, would you do it? And he said, Shawn, what I signed for, what I raised my hand for, was to defend the Constitution of the United States, not a president. And he's right.
Yep.
Do you have any last
Not
words?
his mom.
Do you have any last words, hon?
Just remember, everybody, we can manifest anything we want.
Okay, so I want to manifest. I want to manifest $3 million right here. Manifest. But no, thank you for the topic, Tara. Next week, I want to thank everybody for joining in and listening to the show tonight. I hope you got something out of it. If not, come back next week and hopefully you can get something, when we come up with with something new to talk about. I don't know what next week's show is going to be about. I don't know if we're going to get a guest or not. But please keep coming back Tuesday nights, 8 to 10 p.m. into the night with Shawn Kelly and Tara Brecken. I want to thank Michael and the others who have spoken into the room tonight. Everybody try to stay cool. I mean, because it's hotter than hell. And that's another thing. I think they control our weather too. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. What else more can they control? But all I know is that, with mental health, and I have mental health issues, children, if you can, please, please, please go to your parents and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And when you say that, mean it, because it's more meant than, they could feel it, and you could feel it too, the hug that you get from them. And if you don't have no children, if you don't have no mom and dad, find somebody close that you can go up and give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Okay. And we're all in this thing together. Okay. No matter how good it is, no matter how bad it is, we have to stick together. We really do. And if you can tonight, please, I ask, please say a prayer for the children. Protect the children. Say a prayer to protect the children is what we need to do. And on that note, I want to thank Tara. Thank you for being on. Everybody who listened to the show, we'll see you on next Tuesday. Don't forget, Trish Mo's coming up with the missing piece. Please tune in and listen to her. And on that note, good night.
Good night, guys.
And let me get my ending. Boom. My exit.